اوكي السلام عليكم. امور مزيان، كلشي بخير، عواشر مبروكه. نتمنوا ان شاء الله التوفيق. نتمنوا هي نهار 20 جايه نشوفوا ان شاء الله الا كان شي جديد. نتمنوا كل خير. اوكي good. Yes, so today we are going to start a very interesting topic. It's about error correction. How can you correct your students? When to correct them and when not to correct them? Why to correct them? What are the ways of correcting students? What are the techniques, the strategies? How do students feel about correction? How do teachers feel about correction? Do students like to be corrected by themselves or by their teachers or by their classmates, or the three choices? Do teachers like to correct every single mistake, or they ignore, or they avoid, or they correct only those very important mistakes? So these are very important questions we are going to answer. Then we are going to see what's the difference between an error and a mistake, because it's very confusing that the majority of teachers confuse the two when we talk about errors and mistakes. But in English language teaching, there is a distinction. There is a clear distinction between errors and mistakes. Okay, so let me first share with you the slides of today's presentation. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
So today's topic, as I told you, is about error correction. So these are the major points we are going to discuss: the approaches to errors, types of errors, when to correct and when not to correct. And the most important part of this session is about the techniques, the how, the strategies, the ways of correcting your learners. Okay. Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So it's very confusing. So we got confused. Teachers would use both errors and mistakes as more or less interchangeably. They mix the two. They talk about errors and mistakes as if they are the same. But when we talk about teaching English as a foreign language, we have to make a difference. There is a distinction between the two. So what is the difference to avoid this confusion? Can someone tell me what's the difference between an error and a mistake? What's the difference?
Sir? Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir?
Let me see. Yes, Yassine.
An error is made by non-native speakers, but mistakes is made by native speakers.
Okay, that's nice. Yes, another explanation.
Sir?
Can you please show the
mistake is sir?
Yes, Salima.
Sir? Oh my God.
Oh, sorry, Sana.
Okay. So we can say that a mistake is usually accidental. That is to say, the learner knows that is something that is wrong, whereas an error is usually made due to the lack of knowledge.
Interesting. So an error is due to lack of knowledge, but a mistake is?
Yeah. It happened accidentally. That is to say, the learner knows something that is wrong.
Interesting. Good. Can someone add more? Yes, Abdulrazak.
I think that mistakes, students are aware of their mistakes. When they do mistakes, they are aware, they have the rule. But errors, they don't know about the rule. For example, for example, irregular verb, they apply a rule on they apply irregular verb or regular verb on irregular verb.
That's nice. So here they know about the mistake, but they make the mistake. This is the mistake. Okay. An error, they make the mistake, but they don't know how to correct them themselves.
Yeah.
All right, good. Someone else to add? When we talk about systematic, which one is systematic? Is it the error or the mistake?
Error.
Yes, it's the error. Why it's systematic? Because you don't know the rule. You don't know how to correct yourself. But if you make a mistake just once or twice and then you correct yourself, this is a mistake because you are aware. But the question, why? Why you make the mistake and you know about it? Why? It's another question. Why do you make the mistake and you know later the answer, or you know how to correct yourself later? So why you make that mistake?
I think because it was just by accident. We already have the knowledge, but it was not made بالعاني زعما.
Good. Yeah. Yes. When we say by, so yes. Yeah. When we say it's not blani, no, it's not. I guess I right. Are you from Marrakesh? The one is from Marrakesh? No.
Yes, I am.
Yes, Marrakeshi people, a good sense of humor. Yes, they make a mistake. They make the mistake because they are tired. They make the mistake because they didn't concentrate well. They make a mistake because they speak or they write too fast. So these are the reasons why students make mistakes. When you don't concentrate. Remember in the exam, students finish early and they go. Then after 1 hour, oh, I forgot this one. I know this one. It's lack of concentration. Or if you don't have enough sleep and then you speak English, you make a lot of mistakes. Even teachers, me as a teacher, if I don't have enough sleep, if I don't sleep well, I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes when I'm speaking because I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Okay, so these are the reasons why students make mistakes. But an error is systematic. They make it and make it and make it, and as Abdulrazak said, they don't know the rule. They don't know the form. Okay. Good.
Yes.
So let's see. Can you see the slides?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
So let's
Yes.
clarify the confusion. Miriam, can you please read number 1?
Me.
Yes.
A mistake is when a student produces incorrect utterance or written form, though they know the correct form, but that happened due to the lack of concentration or written or speaking too fast.
Okay, good. So here, the problem is there is lack of concentration.
Concentration.
Or speaking too fast, writing and speaking too fast. There's another problem is being tired or exhausted. Okay, good. Number 2, Sana.
Okay, a mistake can be corrected by the students if he gets a promote from his teacher. It is a slip of the tongue.
Good. There is another meaning of mistake. It's a kind of synonym, which is a slip of the tongue. Okay.
Of the tongue.
If the teacher helps you, you find the answer. You correct yourself. Okay. For example, the student is gonna say, I played tennis yesterday. And the teacher is gonna prompt the student, I play, this is prompt helping the students. Then the students knows that there is a problem with the play. So I played tennis. Good. Number 3, Abdulrazak.
An error is when a student produces incorrect utterances and would be unable to correct themselves.
Good. You cannot correct yourself. Why? Because you don't know. You have lack of knowledge. There is a gap in your knowledge. Gap or lack of knowledge. Yes, Mustafa, number 4.
An error is systematic and the teachers perhaps would not help the learners correct themselves. They do not know how to use the piece of language correctly.
Okay. So as you see here, that the difference between a mistake and an error, a mistake, a student can correct himself or herself if the teacher helps him or her. An error, the students cannot correct him or herself, even though the teacher prompts or helps him, because it's systematic. There is a gap of knowledge or there is lack of knowledge. Okay, is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So the error will never be, I mean, corrected.
Yes, of course. An error, students cannot self-correct. Why? Lack of knowledge. He doesn't know the rule or she doesn't know the form. Okay. It's an error. It's systematic. You do it all the time. But a mistake, you can correct yourself if you remember. You can correct yourself if the teacher helps you. You can correct yourself if the teacher underlines the mistake. Okay. That's why, as I told you in the very beginning of this session, when we talk about teaching English as a foreign language, there is a clear distinction. There is a clear difference between mistake and an error. But when you are just speaking, if you are not talking about teaching, you can say an error or the mistake, no problem. But when we talk about teaching, there is a difference. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Another question. For example, if I have in term of pronunciation, for example, the word blood. If I pronounce it for the first time, I didn't know it's pronounced blood, and they pronounced it blood. I didn't know, and then you, as my teacher, you corrected my, you corrected me. You heard me that I said the blood, and you told no, it's blood. So I mean, next time, will I use the same error, or it will be corrected? I mean, inside my vocabulary, inside my mind.
Good.
You got my question?
Yeah.
You got my question, sir?
Yeah, yeah. I see your point. Can someone help?
Yes.
Yes, Asma?
I think it depends. For example, if the student actually practices the word outside the classroom, he or she will remember blood. But if they don't practice, they may have the same mistake over and over again until it sticks to their minds.
Good. Interesting. Yeah. So my students pronounce the word blood, and the teacher corrects his student saying blood, and the students repeats blood. Okay. The coming day, students repeat the same mistake, blood. Okay. Here the teacher's job is to prompt. What do we say? What do we say? So we will talk about these techniques later. You remind the student that there is something wrong about your pronunciation. The student is gonna remember, and he may say, oh, blood. But if the students makes the same spelling, pronunciation mistakes, blood, here it's an error again, because students still didn't grasp the pronunciation of the word. You see my point? If the students repeat the same mistake several times, it's an error. Why? Because you remind him, you help him, you underline the mistake, but no way. Okay, but in vain. So it's an error. You see my point? There is lack
Yes.
of knowledge. It means that even though you explained to him, he did not understand. Even though he said, yes, I see your point, my teacher. Yeah, we will talk about the techniques later, okay? Halima?
Okay.
Some errors can get fossilized. That's what we can see here, that they repeat the same mistake.
Good. It's another issue, yeah. Perfect. It's another issue. Yeah, me too. When I was a student, I learned from Yes, Rashid, it's a good point.
Some error get fossilized, and it cannot disappear because it's what was not corrected before.
Yes, yes, you are right. Yeah, this is another issue. It's another
Yes.
issue. Okay, good. Yeah, let's just go step by step, okay? Then we can answer all these questions later, okay?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Good. So let me share again the slides. Good. So the next slide. This is a situation. Rashid, can you please
Yes.
read the situation?
Okay. Olga, I corrected my student in class last week. He wrote Fred played basketball. So I interrupted him and told him he should add S. He got quite annoyed with me and told me that he knew all about the third person singular. Yet, in the next classes, he started telling me he wants to be corrected more.
Good.
Questions?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Can you read the questions?
Who was wrong, Olga or her student? What do you think this?
Good. So this is situation. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. You read the situation again about the issue of correcting or not to correct or not to correct. There's an issue between Olga and her student. Read the situation again and try to answer question 1 and the most important question 2. Okay, so now what do you think? Who was wrong? Olga or her students or both?
I think Olga is wrong because we should not correct.
Uh-huh.
Olga.
It may be a slip.
All right. Good. Others? What do you think?
Sir,
Sir.
Sir, can I speak?
Yes? Yes, Samira?
so I think Olga interrupted the student, which was annoying to him. So she should interrupt in the middle of his
sentence to correct his mistake.
Yes, there is a problem with the quality of your, I mean, the sound.
Sir,
Sir, can I speak?
sir, sir.
Yes, Umayma?
So,
Yes, Umayma.
so I think Olga is right here because it's an accuracy activity. So accuracy activity, teacher should explain what the mistakes of their students, should correct their mistakes, especially if they are in grammar lesson.
Interesting. Good. Adil.
I think, sir, the teacher hadn't.
Yeah, after Adil. Sorry, after Adil, Asma.
Okay. I think, sir, that Olga hadn't to correct her students in that way. I think she may correct him in a polite way or in a way that he can accept it.
Interesting. Good. Asma.
I think the teacher should not interrupt the students. Wait until the end and then correct them. And I think the teacher should prompt first till she knows that the student doesn't know, and then she starts, correcting.
Okay, cool. Yes,
and
so
I think the student should be also more open to correcting mistakes.
Good. Yeah, that's nice. Yes, Hafsa?
Yeah, I have just joined, so I have no idea.
Sorry, yeah.
I had a problem. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Good. So here, let me go back to the slides again. All right. There is a problem with Olga. What's the problem? It's this one. Interrupted. Okay. Interrupted him and told him he should add S. Was the speaking activity?
No.
No.
So what?
It's writing activity.
Writing activity. Good. So there is a problem with Olga and the students. Number one, the student, sorry? The student, there is a contradictory point of view. At first, he said he didn't like to be correct, but later he asked her for correction. Yeah, do you hear me?
I think there is a problem.
Yes. Please, someone, please mute your mics.
You know? Hello?
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you clear now.
Sir, we cannot hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said the question that we have to ask is number one, how to correct, and you choose the right time. You see my point? So this is the feedback. The student does seem to be sending slightly contradictory messages to Olga. However, Olga's intervention might have been untimely and interrupted the student's flow of conversation.
Professor,
Sir, I think there is a problem in your mic, sir.
Is a problem?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
No,
not in
Now
sir, I
his
think
mic.
not from your side.
is
Yeah,
okay
not
Yeah,
now?
from your side,
exactly.
sir. But from others who open their mics. So please, can you just unmute your mics so that we don't have the echo of the teacher?
Okay, good. So this is the feedback. Yes, Adil, can you read the feedback quickly, please?
The student does seem, yeah, yes, sir.
Yes.
The student does seem to be sending slightly contradictory messages to Olga. However, Olga's intervention may have been untimely and interrupted the student's flow of conversation. The, the key, the key issue here is, or the key issue here is that knowing when to correct is a sensitive judgment for teachers. Students don't want feedback on their language, but they like to get it in or to get it at the right time.
Perfect. So here there is interruption. Please, when you are correcting students, try to avoid as much as possible interrupting students. You interrupt them unless there is something important, unless there is a breakdown in communication. Then you can interrupt and correct. If the message is somehow clear, don't interrupt. Don't correct students. You correct them at the end. So this is the most about Olga's problem. She interrupted and corrected students during the activity. The alternative way here is to wait till the end, then to give the feedback, then to correct. That S is used with he, she, and S. So Olga should have let the student to continue working. At the end, you give your feedback. At the end, you correct. So please don't interrupt. Don't correct unless it is very important, unless there is breakdown in communication. Okay, so choose the right time is very important. Good. Yes, now, approaches to error correction. We have three major approaches. Number one, do you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, which teacher's views do you agree with and why? Number two, based on your experience as a learner, did you like it when your teacher corrected your errors? Why or why not? I'm gonna give you 4 minutes. You read about Manal, Michael, and Anne. These are approaches. Okay, you read them, then you answer the 2 questions. 4 minutes. Okay, so which teacher's views do you agree with and why?
Sir, can I speak? Yeah.
Yes, Adil.
I I agree with Michael. Errors are very natural and part of the learning process because by making errors, students will learn and get their problems.
Interesting. Good. Uh, do you agree with Adil?
Yes, I do.
Good,
Yes.
I do.
Yes, I do.
good. So we do believe that mistakes or errors are part of learning. You cannot learn without making mistakes. In fact, mistakes show if your students are getting improved or not, if students are doing well or not. So we have to be positive about students' mistake. Yes, Hafsa, can you can you hear me? Good.
Yes.
So I unmute, yeah. Now I want you to reflect on Manel's approach to error correction. I don't like correcting my learners' errors. It's demotivating and getting students feel embarrassed.
No, this is not a good idea, because correcting mistakes is a part of the learning process. So we should correct the students' mistakes, but we have to be very smart in correcting their mistakes. I mean, because some students can be very sensitive, and we have to choose the right time to correct the mistakes and
Perfect.
the method. This is what's really important.
Perfect. So here, I don't like correcting my learners' errors. Demotivating and getting students feel embarrassed. Yes, students may feel embarrassed in front of their classmates. Students may be demotivated when you correct. So here is the teacher's job, how to correct. Here the problem concerning Manel's approach to error correction is overcorrection. Don't overcorrect. If you overcorrect students, you demotivate and you make them feel embarrassed. So please avoid overcorrection. Is this clear? Good.
Yes. Sir?
Yes, please, Abdulrazak.
I think this situation, it depends on the situation, because Manel, I think it deals with shy student. This situation we can apply it on shy student. When they start getting more self-confidence, we shouldn't interrupt them. We should choose another way to correct without make them without broke their communication.
Okay, that's interesting. Good.
Sir, can I speak? Sir, can
Yes,
yes, sir. Yeah, I partially agree with Mr. Abdulrazak, but here we don't know if these students are shy students or just simple students, and we don't know.
My point here, we shouldn't apply it on the whole class.
Yeah.
This is my point. For example, this situation, we have 5 students in the class, shy student. We should do this situation because it is appropriate.
Yeah.
To take a passive student to be active.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did get you now. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Now, for Manel, as a teacher, you have to encourage your students to communicate. Once they communicate, they make mistakes. So you have to encourage your students to take risks. Taking risk means making mistakes. So for Manel, there is no problem. Don't care. Okay, but try to help students to have a good idea, a good image about making mistakes. Okay, now with Anne, we should always avoid correcting errors. I don't want my students to pick up bad habits. What do you think about this one? We cannot avoid correcting errors. It's impossible. Because if the error is breaking down communication, the teacher should interfere immediately to help. Okay. That's why here always should be avoided. We should always avoid. No. We have to help students, okay, to teach them, to help them know about the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because correcting errors
and the student.
Yes, Najwa?
I said because correcting errors are part of teaching.
Good. Are part of learning, yes, and teaching as well. Good.
Sir,
Yes? Yes, Umayma?
also, if the teacher avoid correcting errors, the students at the time will still repeat their mistakes.
Uh-huh. It's going to be a bad habit.
They will not. Yeah.
Good. Yes, I agree.
Sir, sir,
Yes?
the teacher should correct the mistakes which are the focus of the piece of work. So if it's teaching, for instance, is a particular language area and students make mistakes in this area, teacher should interfere and correct.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. So these are just three approaches, okay, to error correction. So let's see here. Now, types of errors. I want you to number from 1 to 4, not 5, from 1 to 4 are examples of spoken errors. Letters A to E are categories of errors. Number 1 to 4 indicate what the problem is and match the examples to the categories and problems. So the categories here: pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and discourse. Problems: collocation, cohesion, sound, word order. Can we do number 1 all together? I should a doctor see. What's the category here?
Grammar.
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 You agree?
Yeah, grammar. Yes.
Grammar.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
we do.
grammar.
Okay, what's the problem?
Word order.
Word order.
Word
Perfect.
order.
Perfect. Let me give you 3 minutes. Complete number 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So, someone to answer number 2.
Sir,
Yes, please.
we have a problem on vocabulary. We must see Bob is taller than Laura.
So, vocabulary. You agree?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes.
So, what's the problem?
The student here, he doesn't choose the right word.
No, the
right
problem
adjection.
is collocation, cohesion, word order, or sound.
Cohesion.
Cohesion. Cohesion.
Cohesion, you agree?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cohesion, yeah.
You agree or no?
Collocation.
Collocation. So let's skip it. There is a confusion here between all of you. Okay. Number 3, I have a problem in my stomach.
Yes, sir.
Pronunciation.
Sir.
So, can you
Yeah,
raise your hand,
pronunciation,
please?
Can I speak?
Yes, please. Yeah, you can.
So for number 3, it's the category here is pronunciation, and the problem is sound, phoneme.
You agree, all of
Yeah.
you?
We say stomach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
I
right,
agree.
yeah.
Yes, we agree.
It's very funny when you teach your students stomach, they say stomach. Okay. Yeah, this is a very common mistake. Yes, Miriam.
Yes. Do you like ice cream? No, thank you. I think it's a problem. It's a problem of cohesion, and the category is discourse.
Yes, yeah.
You agree?
Yes.
So let's see the correction. I should see a doctor. It's grammar. Okay. And the problem is word order. Bob is longer than Laura. Vocabulary, collocation. Because collocation with people, we use taller, not longer. You see my points? Two words that go together. With people, we use tall, not long. I have a problem in my its pronunciation. And the last one, as Miriam said, is discourse, and the problem is cohesion. Good. Now, another question is when to correct. I want you to read these situations. What should the teacher do about the learner's errors? Choose the best answer for each situation. A, the teacher should correct the error immediately. So when to correct? You correct immediately. Number two, the teacher should not correct the error. Or C, the teacher should delay the correction and provide feedback at the end of the activity. This is the occasions when to correct. You correct immediately, you don't correct, or you delay the correction at the end of the session or the activity. Again, I give you 4 minutes. You read situation, or let's do situation number 1 all together. Then situation number 2 and 3, I give you some time. Situation number 1, someone to read the situation number 1.
Yes.
Yes, Halima?
Teacher, good. And what do you do, Bob? Student, I work at school. My job is to learn teachers.
Good. So what's here? If you are teaching this class, if you are teaching this student, how would you react? When to correct? Is it A, B, or C?
I guess it's A.
It's A for me.
Yes.
It's A?
A.
All of you?
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good job, yeah. Proud of you. But why?
Can I speak?
Miriam, Boro?
Because it breaks down communication, as you said earlier.
Excellent. There is a breakdown in communication. When you feel that the message is broken, when communication is broken, you interfere. You see my point? So for number 1, A is the right answer. The teacher should correct the error because the message, I don't understand my student. What is he saying? Or what is she saying? So I have to stop her. And to do what? So how can I improve the situation? How? How can I improve the situation?
We can reformulate the sentence.
Excellent. Can you help your friend? What do you mean by reformulate?
Or maybe paraphrase. We can ask her to paraphrase.
We can just we repeat the sentences with correctly, so the students can hear and the correct sentence, but without letting the student pay attention to the correction.
Very good job, Rashid, and very good job, Najwa. So Rashid and Najwa stated 2 options. Rashid said to reformulate. Reformulation means to give the answer. So your job is to teach learners. Najwa said to ask. So, what do you mean to learn? Do you mean to teach or to learn? This is asking. This is how you can help your students. Okay, there are many techniques. One of these to reformulate or to ask a question, to highlight. Okay, good. Now, we still have less than 2 minutes and the Zoom is gonna get over, then we come back again. I give you 2 minutes. If Zoom is, stopped, we can go back, okay? So 2 minutes, do situation number 2 and number 3. Can you see all the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Shall we correct?
Yes.
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 Okay. So, Miriam.
Yes. For situation number 2, I think the teacher should not correct the error because here it's about the understanding of the meaning of what's I mean the listening activity. It's rather fluency than accuracy, I think.
Interesting. Good point. It's about fluency and accuracy. Good.
It's rather fluency than accuracy. So the student here is expressing himself, expressing the understanding of what's been going on in the tape. So I think the teacher should not correct at this point.
Interesting. Others, do you have can you reflect on situation number 2?
I kind of disagree with Miriam.
Yeah.
I think the teacher should correct, but till the end of the activity.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, sir. And I think the same. The teacher should delay the correction.
Should
till
delay
the end
correction.
of the activity. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sir?
Now, my question, is this a big mistake or a little small mistake?
It's just a small mistake.
Just small mistake.
So is there communication? Is there a breakdown in communication or not?
There is no break. Everything clear, I guess.
Good. So these are the questions you are going to ask yourself. Number 1, when you are teaching listening and reading, okay, you are not teaching grammar. You are teaching listening and reading. If there is a little mistake, you not you avoid, but you delay till the end, and then you talk a little bit about it. You see my point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here, if you interrupt students and correcting the mistake, it's a problem. Number 1, because you are doing fluency activities, listening.
Yes.
Okay, it's not accuracy. You are not teaching them grammar and writing things correctly. And number two, the communication is clear, but there is a little mistake. So the best time is till the end. Then you can discuss a little bit. Okay.
Yes.
Situation number three. Someone to, yes, Asma Abu Faraj.
I think we should not correct the students in this case because as a teacher, you are just monitoring the students. They are working in groups, so they may make mistakes.
Good.
Can I add?
agree.
Yes,
Yeah. Can I add?
Yes, you can.
Yes. Yes, I do agree with Asma because here is just like a casual conversation between students. So we must let them express themselves, and it's more about like fluency rather than accuracy.
Good. All right, that's interesting. So look at the, how many mistakes in situation number three? How many mistakes?
One.
One?
No,
Okay.
more than one.
More than one.
More than one.
How many students who made the mistake?
4 students.
Huh?
Student one.
Three students.
Student
Yes,
three.
all of them.
Students.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Yes.
So what's the mistake for students number one?
Article.
Is a beautiful place.
A beautiful. So this is a big mistake. There is a lack of communication.
Article.
No.
No, there is not.
No,
Very good.
very
There's no
minor.
lack of communication. Right. Number two, I think France is very wonderful for everybody. Is there a mistake here?
No.
Oh, wonderful.
Very,
Very
no,
wonderful.
very wonderful.
Yeah,
Very
a very
wonderful.
wonderful,
Very wonderful,
for
it's
everybody.
correct.
No, yeah, very, yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
So
it's
there is an
correct.
indefinite article again. Yes, I am agree with Laura. Is there a
I
mistake?
agree.
Verb.
I
It's
agree.
obvious.
I agree.
I
I
like to
agree.
travel by
agree.
plane because it's comfortable. There is a mistake?
I
No.
like traveling.
Good.
No, no.
So
I
you
like
as a
traveling.
teacher, yes, please. You as a teacher, you are monitoring. When you are monitoring and it's a speaking activity, you take notes. You listen to your students, what they are saying, and then you take notes about the mistakes they make. Don't interrupt.
Yes.
Okay, so here, the best way is to delay the mistake, the correction till the end. Why? Because the mistakes that students or the errors that students made, they are not breaking down communication. Okay, you see my point?
Yes.
So till the end, then you can discuss, okay, the three, but interrupting in or during the speaking activity is not the right time. That's why Olga's students didn't like the way she was corrected by her teacher. You see my point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. But here there is a repetition of the indefinite article. Paris is a beautiful. I think France is a very wonderful, which means that there is a problem. That's why we say mistakes helps teachers know about students' performance. Since two students made the same mistake, which means that the teacher should revise again the indefinite article. There is something wrong about the teacher's lesson because two students made the same mistake or three students. So you can have 10 minutes at the end as a review about indefinite article if you want. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, any other reflections you can say on situation number three? So for situation number one, the teacher should correct immediately. Why? Because you said there is breakdown in communication.
Communication.
Good. Number two, the teacher should not correct the error. This is very important because the method is clear, or you can.
Because there is.
Sorry.
Because there is just a small grammar mistake.
Yeah, there is a small grammar mistake. Okay. And it's a listening. I'm checking understanding. I'm not testing your grammar. You see my point?
Yes.
Yes.
Situation number two is about checking comprehension. I'm checking if you understand the listening. I'm not evaluating. I'm not testing. I'm not checking you because here it's not grammar. It's listening. So concept checking just give me the right. Just show me that you understand. You see my point?
Yes.
Okay. So we can. Yeah, it's still less than 10 seconds. We continue again after that. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we still have 20 seconds. Sorry, 20 seconds. Good. Now, for situation number two, when you are teaching reading or when you are teaching listening, the text of reading is about the question, what does Bob do? If the students writes, Bob are a teacher, because in the text Bob is a teacher, but the students write Bob are a teacher. Are you going to accept this answer? Are you going to give the students 1 point, or you are going to consider it as a mistake and you give him or her 0 point?
Sir, can I answer?
Yes, Miriam.
Yes, it's not a mistake because here we're testing comprehension, not grammar.
Excellent. You have to make a difference between testing grammar, testing comprehension. When you are testing comprehension, we focus on comprehension. We ask ourselves if students understand the text, if the students understands the listening. Making mistakes about grammar, we don't care about them. What we care about comprehension. Okay, you see my point? So the students is gonna get all the points, because it's reading comprehension, not grammar. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. So here, when not to correct, what are the occasions on which teachers should not correct? Can someone read number 1, 2 to 5?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure.
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand, Asma.
When a student speaks the first time in class, when you are doing an activity of which the main aim is to help them relax and enjoy the following parts of the lesson, when the learner is communicating something is very important to them, when you are teaching reading or listening, listen, the reader says the correct answer, but he makes a small grammar mistake in doing so. The teacher is angry with the student because they are being disruptive.
Good. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Can you mute? Let me mute your mics, all of you. You mute, yes. Can you do it by yourself? Thank you. Good. So number 1, when a student speaks the first time in class, why you should not correct? It's the first time in class, why?
Sure, can I speak?
Yes, Najwa?
We must not correct him because it's his first time when he speaks in class. And if we do interrupt and correct his mistake, he will not do it again. He will be embarrassed and like ashamed.
Excellent.
So we must not.
Yes, it's the first class. You welcome your students. come to your English class. It's a very nice class. It's very interesting for you. But from the very beginning, you correct students' mistakes. They feel embarrassed, they feel depressed, and they may have an idea from the very beginning that this class is very tough. Whenever I say a word, the teacher is gonna correct it. So it's the first meeting. Yes, no need to correct. You see my point? Number two.
Yes, sir.
Number two, the purpose.
Sorry.
Yes?
Sir, yes. I think even for students who are very shy and they never speak in class, and when it comes that this student speaks for the first time, then if we correct him or her, they will never speak again. I think we should encourage this student to speak again and again.
All right, that's interesting. That's why we should have a positive feedback about correction mistakes, and you should encourage your students to accept being corrected because it's part of the learning process. Number two, when you want to correct, you ask yourself, what's the objective? What's the aim of that activity? So number two, when you are doing an activity of which the main aim is to have them relax and enjoy, so there is no need to correct, because the most important is to help them have fun, to help them enjoy the atmosphere, to help them feel relaxed, because it's the last class during the day. Okay. Number three, when the learner is communicating something is very important to them. For example, a student is gonna say to the class, the teacher of philosophy want to tell you, want to tell you about the coming exam. As a teacher, don't correct, no, we say wants, because this is a very important information. The student is telling something important. There is no need to correct. You see my point? Am I clear so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Number four.
Yes, teacher.
Number four, as in situation number 2 and 3, when there is reading and listening, here we are talking about checking comprehension. So try to avoid as much as possible correcting grammar mistakes. And number 5, it happens to us as teachers when you are angry, okay, with the students, you all the time doing like this. If he speaks, you correct him all the time. Okay, no. We as teachers try to be flexible. He's an adolescent. He's a teenager. Okay, so even though he's disruptive, even though he's doing bad stuff, but you as a teacher, you should approach him. You should help him, but not just to correct him because you have a problem with him or with her. Okay. Now, what are the techniques? If you want to correct students, there are 2 activities. Fluency, as Miriam said, there is a fluency and there is accuracy. So accuracy activities and fluency activities. These 2 activities will help you to decide about the techniques that you are going to use to correct. So let's see these 2 situations. Fluency activity and accuracy activity. Sorry, can someone read the fluency activity? Let's start with fluency.
Sir.
Can you please,
Can I read?
Hafsa?
Okay. Fluency activity. The teacher is teaching second back students. They are doing a speaking activity in groups of threes. The teacher is monitoring, listening, talking, and taking notes. After they finish, the teacher puts some mistake on the board. She didn't identify who made the mistake, but she asked them all to look at them and correct.
Good. Can you read the
Who
question?
corrects? Yeah. A. Who corrects the mistake? B. What would the alternative be if this strategy didn't work? C. What is the benefit of delaying the correction till the end of the activity?
Good. Now let's compare. Can someone read the accuracy? Someone to read?
Can I read?
Sir. Yes,
I
sir.
read, sir.
Muhammad. Muhammad from
You are
Fez.
teaching students, you are teaching them how to talk about the present continuous. One of the students say they play in football now.
All
Do
right.
you A, ignore the mistake, B, say they are playing football now, C, say in the present continuous, etc.
Okay, good. So your job is to answer these questions. I give you 5 minutes again. Shall we start? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So let's start with number 1. Who corrects the mistake?
The students
I think
themselves
it's
correct
peer,
the
peer
mistake.
correction.
Very good. B, what would be the alternative, or what would the alternative be if this strategy didn't work?
Teacher correction.
The teacher corrects it.
Excellent. So the teacher corrects. It's clear. What's the what is the benefit without S? What are the benefits of delaying the correction till the end of the activity?
Help.
Not interrupting the student.
Very good. So you don't
Avoiding to interrupt student.
Avoiding interrupting students. Good.
Sir.
Yes, Abdulrazak.
Help shy student to build their confidence.
Great, that's interesting. So this is the most important. Number 1, you don't interrupt, And number 2, communication is continuing. Okay. All right, now let's move to accuracy, activity. Number 1, do you ignore the mistake? So you are teaching first back students and you are teaching them how to talk about the present continuous of this. Yeah, continuous.
No,
No.
are
No, we
going to
shouldn't
ignore
ignore
the
them.
It's not. We should identify the mistake here.
Yes,
in this
Mustafa?
because
situation.
it's an accuracy.
Mustafa?
Yes, sir. So here, teaching first back students, you should not ignore the mistakes because it's a vital mistake. So we should, correct them immediately for me.
Good. Asma?
I think I would say in the present continuous. I think C is the correct answer here, because if we correct the answer immediately, like they are playing football now, I think we wouldn't push them to find the answer themselves.
Good.
So I'm gonna prompt.
Yes, Asma, but let's focus on A. Ignore the mistake. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's correct. I shouldn't
but the
ignore
question
the
why?
mistake.
The question is why we should not ignore.
Because
it's
can I start
accuracy.
Accuracy.
It's not a small
Excellent.
mistake.
Adil, can you repeat?
Exactly.
Adil, can you repeat?
Activity.
Sir?
Adil,
Yes, sir.
can you repeat your answer?
It's an accuracy activity. That's why we shouldn't ignore the mistake.
Perfect. It is an accuracy-based activity. So it's very important to correct mistakes. Okay. Because the focus is on using the language form. The focus is on using the language form, and it is an accuracy-based activity. Now, let's move to B. Say they are playing football now. Halima?
I think here, I think here, if the teacher corrects immediately the students, then they will forget about the rule. They will forget about it.
Samira, excellent. Yes.
There.
Students, if you give them the correct answer, they may not notice. They may forget. So what's the most important is to involve them in the correction process. You involve them. You see my point?
Yes.
That correction is ideal here.
Yeah, you involve them. Don't from the very beginning you give them the right answer, because they may not notice or they may forget. C, say in the present continuous. Yes, Asma, again, can you elaborate on that?
I think we should prompt so that the students actually get the answer themselves.
Good.
For example, here they say they play in football now. I say yes. In the present continuous, it would be, and then they would say I am. They are playing football now.
Good. So is the students involved or not in this situation?
Yes.
Yes.
They are.
Good. Now, when we say the present continuous, we say it when the student cannot correct him or herself. It's number one. Number one, the teacher should help students self-correct themselves. If they couldn't, then we can use a technique. And this technique is called using terminology. Using like grammar. tense. Preposition, preposition. If the mistake is about preposition, you say preposition. And students know it's preposition mistake or grammar, etc. Okay. So we call it, you use terminology, and here it's tense or grammar because it's the present continuous. Okay. And the student is involved in the correction process. You see my point?
Sir? Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, please.
we could
Huh? Yes, Abdurrazzaq?
sir, we could use also after that if they don't know the terminology, if we give them signals and they don't know, we could use also peer correction. Student correct to each other.
Good. Yes. So self-correction, peer correction, then the teacher's correction. Now let's move. Yeah, let's move to the next slide. So the difference between correcting correction mistakes in fluency and accuracy activities. Number one, the difference is that you don't have enough time. If you are correcting fluency, you may not have enough time. But if you are correcting accuracy, you have enough time. You see my point? You get the paper, you get the worksheet, you get the student's task, and you correct them. You have time. But when they are speaking, you may not, because they are speaking quickly and they may make a lot of mistakes, and you may not have enough time to correct each mistake. Number two, it is essential to highlight where the mistake is. How? You can underline, you can point, you can say, etc. Number three, it is essential to highlight the type. What type of the mistake? Bob play tennis every day. You underline where, you highlight play where, or the type. Yes, it's grammar. So they know it's the type of the mistake is grammar, so plays. And number four, which is the most important, is to involve the learners in the correction process. Okay, good. Now, these are the techniques. You can use gestures, reformulation, repeat the utterance, delay correction, ask questions, or use terminology. Okay, I'm gonna explain. Use gestures. I played tennis yesterday. The teacher, I, gestures, pointing back, yesterday. Okay, or you can use your fingers like this. Look here. I play yesterday. So this is the problem. Using fingers, you can use this strategy or this technique. So when a student say, I play tennis yesterday, you do like this. Sorry? Which means this is number one, I, it's correct. But this one is not correct. And tennis is correct. Using fingers, it's a very interesting technique. Bob watch TV. Bob watch TV. Again, use fingers. You just show them where is the problem. You see my point?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So using fingers are very important, especially with simple sentences. Like I play tennis. So we have 3 parts. Or I play tennis yesterday. We have 4 fingers. I play tennis yesterday. Oh, I play tennis yesterday. So I correct, tennis correct, yesterday correct. The problem is with this one. You see my point? Can you see? So you have them using the finger or fingers.
Yes.
Okay. It's very important, especially with simple sentences. If you teach them from
Professor.
Sorry?
So, Professor, we can also use the inversion by using our hands. For example, we say I instead of saying I always get up early. We say the mistake is I get up always early. So we can say like that inversion, and the student can understand.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, there are many ways. Thank you. Now, reformulation, the second type. I played tennis yesterday. The teacher is gonna reformulate. I played tennis, as if you give the correct answer. You see? Repeat the utterance. The utterance. I played tennis yesterday. Play, play, play. So you repeat where is the mistake exactly? Or you delay the correction at the end of the activity or at the end of students speaking. Okay. Or you ask a question. Do you say play? Play or played? Like this. Or use terminology. Grammar or tense, or present continuous or simple past. You see my point? So all these are the techniques that you can use with students so as to have them correct. You start with self-correction, peer correction, then you can use all these techniques. Now let's move to practice. Read the error below and correct it, taking into account the given correction techniques. These are the given correction techniques. Student, they go to the cinema last Sunday. The technique is using terminology. Last night, so grammar. You see, I'm gonna give you again 4 minutes. I want you to use gesture, reformulation, repeat the utterance, delay correction, use terminology. You see my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the mistake is they go to the cinema last night. Can we do it all together?
Yes. Sir.
Yes, sir.
So I want to see you now. So I'm seeing Yasin. Yasin. Good. Yasin, use term
Yes, sir.
use gesture. I go to the cinema last night. So how can you correct this one?
I went to the
Using this
cinema
one.
last night.
Good.
Yeah,
Gestures.
went.
But don't say went.
Yeah,
Don't give the answer. Yes, don't give the
yeah,
answer.
I get it.
Okay, good. Another one. Yes, Mustafa. How can you use the technique of using gesture? I go to the cinema last night.
So I can do it using my hand. I went to the cinema last night. Okay. So
Good.
without even using both hands or just one hand, say, going back means I went to the cinema last night.
Perfect. Can someone use the fingers?
Sir, can
Yes.
I do it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Halima.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Uh, I go to the
Using
cinema
fingers.
yesterday. So go is the incorrect one.
Perfect. Excellent, Halima. Good. Now, I
Yes.
want you to use the technique of reformulation. Umayma,
All right.
reformulation is when you state the answer.
Sir, can you repeat?
I go to the cinema last night. Use the reformulation technique.
Sir, I can't hear you. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, my question is to use the reformulation technique. Can someone help Umayma?
Yes.
I
Abdulrazak.
went.
Reformulation, you give the direct answer, the correct answer from the very beginning.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to the
So we
cinema
say,
last Sunday.
so we say, I went to the cinema last night.
Yeah.
Yes.
So instead of
Yes.
saying I go, we say I went to the cinema last night.
You give them
Exactly.
the correct answer.
Perfect. Yes.
Directly.
Another technique, which is using what?
Ask a question.
Yeah, ask a
Repeating
question.
the utterances.
Yeah.
Can I
Can you
do
repeat,
it?
sir?
Yes, Najwa.
Yes. So in the past, I go to the cinema past. So it is not now. Is it now? Is it now when I go to that or last night?
Okay, that's interesting. Yes, Abdulrazak.
Shall we say, did we go? Did we go? When shall I say go or went?
Perfect.
Like terminal, it like
Yes.
terminology, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like
No, you give them the choice.
Like choices. Okay, good. So we are asking what? Is there another technique that we discussed? Another technique?
Delaying
Repeat the utterance.
Delay.
Yeah,
Delay it.
you repeat the utterance. Can someone do it? I go to the cinema last night. Someone?
You repeat the word go.
Yeah, so what can you say,
Go.
Asma?
For example, you say, I go to the cinema last night. I say, go, go,
Go,
go.
go. Very good. You repeat like 2 or 3 times. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. That's interesting. Good. Now let's go back to the slides again. So these are the techniques.
Sir,
Yes, please.
do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, just I wanna check if you hear me. Okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah, good. Now let's move to the next
Thank
one.
you.
So now for correcting writing, it's good to depend on the symbols or codes. Okay, so here we have, let's start with the symbols. G stands for grammar, P for punctuation. There is a spelling P here, punctuation. Can you see the slides?
No.
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 No, sir.
Just here.
Yes, there is a spelling here, punctuation with the U, okay? WW is wrong word. SP, spelling. T, chance. V, vocabulary. MW, missing word. Okay, so you can teach students giving them codes or symbols, because when you correct students' mistakes, you don't correct the whole answer, but you just underline and you write the symbol, G or P or W. There's an example here. This is an example. Sorry. Bob, dear Bob. What's the mistake?
This is spelling.
Spelling.
Spelling?
Capitalization.
No,
Capitalization.
no, this is grammar.
Punctuation.
Punctuation.
So you write
Capital.
after Bob, you write P. Don't correct Bob with
Capital letter.
You write only P in front of. You see my point?
Yes.
But Bob, we have to use capitalization. Yes.
So
Yes or no?
capitalization is part of
Capital letter.
punctuation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 minutes. Try to correct the mistakes. Don't correct, but just write symbols in front of each one. Okay.
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 Ah, spelling.
So here we can be, and we can write it's a
Punctuation, P.
P. Sorry, I don't know how to write with this one. P. Punctuation. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm trying to learn how to write a good P. Okay, let me try again. I'm gonna give you some time to think about others.
My name is yes. Rama. Professor.
But there is a comma there after both.
No, but B.
Yes.
Yes.
B should be capitalized.
Yeah, capitalized.
Yes,
So I'm not gonna write
so
capital
we
B.
don't have the,
Sorry?
we don't have the problem of
P. You write P
yes.
instead of
You write just
punctuation.
P.
It means punctuation.
Capitalization is also a part of punctuation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's included, yeah.
Okay.
Can you please mute your mic? Thank you.
I like to. So, what?
Wow, finally. It's a P. Okay, can you see now?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you write like this, P, punctuation. And the students, because we teach or we taught our students that P stands for punctuation. Yeah, there is a problem here with punctuation with you again, okay? Anyway, now, can someone correct the first sentence?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Other face?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Zara, eventually.
I'm happy. Happy. I think the problem is spelling.
Good. So what's the problem is?
Spelling, SP.
Spelling. Good. So I'm gonna underline my student's mistake here, and I'm gonna write S P. Okay.
So you don't hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Good. Thank you, Fatima Zahra. Now the second line. Yes.
Sir,
Hear me?
sir.
Amina.
Okay, there is a grammar mistake.
Where is it?
My name is
Very good. So I'm gonna write.
grammar. G.
I'm gonna write
G or
T.
T?
Not the before.
We have tense, right?
My
My
name is
name
sure.
is before.
Yeah, just 1 second.
We can also write T. Tense.
So
Yeah, both are correct. G or T.
very good question.
But again, here sir.
Yes.
He used the right tense, but he doesn't use the right
it's present.
Sorry.
Yes, yes. I agree with you.
Here it's when you have
Use the tense.
Yeah, it's grammar.
But there is a problem on the level of grammar.
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yes.
underline again.
Are.
Are.
Sorry again. I'm gonna underline R. And write
Yes.
what?
G.
G. Yeah, it's G.
G. Good. I'm from Morocco. Next, the next slide. Sorry, the next line.
Sure, me.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Sure.
Akad? Yes, Galaxy.
Yes.
Akad.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. In my free time, I like to work my homework. So the mistake here is work. So wrong word. So we
Wrong
have to
word?
say to do my homework.
What about homework?
And the homework is spelling mistake. So we need to add e. No.
Very good. Spelling.
What about punctuation?
And work
There is another word there.
Wrong word.
Work.
Mistake.
Wrong word.
Do my homework.
Yes, Hafsa?
Should do homework.
We have to say do my homework. So there's a wrong word. W.
W.
So,
And also,
W. Asma. Please raise your hand. I see only Asma. Yes. Continue.
Yes, you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I hear you.
So
Can you hear me now?
Sir, what about punctuation in my free time? I think we need
Yes,
a
comma.
What do you
I
think?
agree.
Is it important?
Yes.
Yes.
So if we don't write, is a mistake? And you are teaching beginners.
No, it's not necessary.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's not very important. Okay, it's not a mistake, a big mistake. Or it's not a mistake. Okay, and here we are teaching beginners. Good. After that, I go with my brothers, Leila and Fatima.
Sure.
Yes.
So brothers.
Wrong word.
Wrong words.
Yes, Halima.
I go with my siblings. Wrong word.
Yes, I go with my siblings or with my
Sisters.
sisters. What's the problem?
Wrong word.
Wrong word.
Wrong word.
Vocabulary. Yes. Vocabulary.
Vocabulary or wrong word?
Wrong word.
It's the wrong word. Okay.
Wrong word.
Yeah, it's the wrong. Instead of using sisters, he used brothers.
Brothers. Yeah.
Okay. Leila and Fatima. So what's the problem?
Punctuation.
Capital letter, punctuation.
Punctuation. Good.
Punctuation.
Another mistake.
To do shopping.
Rashida.
Clothes. Spelling.
Yeah, to do shopping.
Buy clothes.
To buy clothes. Clothes is spelling mistake.
Please, spelling mistake.
Spelling.
Please,
Good.
spelling mistake.
Please, again, spelling mistake.
Missing word.
Missing word.
Time is spelling mistake. Time. Free time.
Time is spelling mistake
Before we have missing we have missing
yes,
word.
Amina?
Tell me.
Before we have missing word, tell me.
Tell me. And also what? There is the problem of spelling. What we need an A at the end.
Sure. And Atama, invite.
Sorry, tell me.
Because we
have before we have missing word, tell me.
Yes.
Yes, Amina.
And what?
And then we have a grammar mistake. What do you do in your free time?
What do you do in your
free time?
Question mark.
Oh no, we can
It
say
doesn't
what you do.
use.
No, there is tell me.
It's correct. It's correct.
It's
You can
correct.
use
Tell
the
me what you
question.
do.
What you do. Okay.
What you do is a statement.
Yeah.
What do you do is a question, so it's correct. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Just
Now
we have missing word.
Here, I'm not correcting my students, but I'm helping them to discover, to note the
Yes.
mistake by themselves. And as you see, what is the common mistake here made by the student?
Spelling.
Spelling
If
and
you
wrong
go
word.
back, if you go back when you were a student at the high school, you will see that we all made the same common
Spelling.
mistakes, spelling. So you should know a strategy to help students avoid or overcome this problem. Number one, using dictionary. Yes.
Sir, but if the teacher uses this way of correcting, the student might not know these symbols. So how can we solve this problem?
No, from the very beginning, you teach them the symbols and what do they symbolize? What do they mean? And you give them examples. You see,
Yes.
you can start with a model, an email, and you underline and you write G, and you underline and write W, and then you give them the correct answers. Then it's practice. You give them another text or another email, and they have to correct these mistakes. You see, because once you start correcting their writing, they know that G stands for grammar, WW for wrong word, etc. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Good. So let's move to the next. What's this? Okay, questions. Yeah, before the questions, there is a summary. The summary is number one, correct a lot if students like it and want to be corrected. If students like to be corrected, yes, correct them every time. Okay, so you negotiate with students. Number two, once you correct, be clear and brief. Number three, involve learners in the correction process from self to peer correction. Number four, avoid, please avoid simply telling them the correct version all the time. Don't tell them the correct answer all the time. Number five, you should always correct immediately, but delay corrections also works. You can correct immediately, but delaying the correction also works in some situations, especially once they are working in groups, you are monitoring, you are just taking notes, and at the end you write everything on the board and you discuss with them the mistakes, but don't tell them who made the mistake, you just write the mistakes. Number six, mistakes that hinder, not hinders, mistakes that hinder, okay, mistakes that hinder communication do need immediate correction, whatever stage of the lesson is. If you think there is a breakdown of communication or in communication, you should correct immediately. You see my point?
Yes.
All right, I think that's enough for now. So if there is any question or if you want to discuss something, yes, Asma.
I do have a question. For example, in a situation where a student makes a mistake while speaking or reading a text, so other students jump in and correct him or her. How do we handle this situation? Interrupt him every time.
Yeah, good. It's an interesting question. So you are teaching reading and listening, yeah?
Yeah, or speaking or whatever. And a student, for example, makes a mistake. So other students jump in and interrupt him each time.
Good. It's an interesting question. Can someone answer before I give my point of view or my reflection?
Sir,
Yes.
I think that can be handled. I mean, at the beginning of this whole year we had rules. So no one, I mean, corrects the mistakes if someone is speaking. I mean, I think this is about the rules of the classroom.
Good.
Yes,
It's,
but
it's,
sometimes,
yes, it's interesting.
sometimes,
Number
yes.
one is Asma. Number one, you should not encourage students to correct other students once they are speaking, because students themselves don't like to be corrected once they are talking or reading or answering by students. They feel underestimated. They feel as they are inferior. Number one, they should let the students complete his speech, and they have to raise their hands. And the teacher who should give them the chance, or who should let them answer. But jumping and interrupting, no way. You should not encourage. For me, it's a bad habit. And it happened to me in my classes. A student is reading a text, and 3 other students are jumping, correcting. And the students who made the mistake felt embarrassed and felt underestimated. My job, I say, no, don't correct. Let him continue talking. Because my purpose is, what's the purpose? Is the reading activity. The purpose is, for example, checking comprehension. I won't care about grammar mistakes. You see my point. But if the students, as if you give them a room for correcting themselves in a reading or speaking or whatever the activity is, take it for granted. They won't like it. You see my point? Because the student who is going to correct the other students, he feels that he has got power. I'm better than you. You see my point?
Yes.
So
I understand.
what is the strategy? Is to stop. You stop the students from correcting the other one who is reading a text or who is speaking. Tell them don't interrupt. Okay, because I'm telling you to talk about yourself. Speak about yourself. My name is. If the students interrupt the other ones, no, it's not your job. Your job is just to listen. Listen to your friend. Your job is not to correct. When I tell you to correct mistakes, we can correct. You see my point, Jisam? Sorry, I mean, Asma?
Yes. Yes, thank you so much. I understand.
Yes, sir. I want to ask a question.
Yes, Halima?
Yes, sir.
Please.
In reading the text, we can correct pronunciation or not?
In the reading text?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can correct pronunciation or not?
When students make a mistake in a pronunciation, yes.
Again, it depends. What is your objective of that activity?
Reading, just
yeah, reading. If you are teaching pre-vocabulary, pre-teaching vocabulary, here you can correct pronunciation. You see my point?
Yeah.
Because
but
you
when
have the lesson.
Read, the students read.
Yeah, if the students read the text and he makes a lot of, or he mispronounce a lot of words, you cannot correct every single word. You see? So you can correct the most important key vocabulary words. You correct them. Okay. Or at the end, you take notes and you write on the board. Can you repeat, all of you? How do you pronounce this? Is it blood or blood? And you write on the board and you correct it with all students. You see my point?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good. I think that's enough for today. بالتوفيق ان شاء الله. هابي رمضان. نتمنوا ان شاء الله الخير، وغالبا في نهار 20 غيكون شي جديد ان شاء الله باذن الله. غيكون واحد التخفيف، نتمناو ما يكونش يعني التخفيف التام، ولكن نتمناو على الاقل نخرجوا غير نترينيو شويه، نخرجوا راسنا، نتسلاو شويه الى اخره.
I have a question, Professor.
Yes, Fatima Zahra.
What about the final exam?
Good. Yes, the final exam, as we did with the other group, who studied for 3 months, 60 hours. The exam was the portfolio. The portfolio was considered as an exam because it was locked down and no one could go to the academy to study. So we gave them the portfolio to work on. It's about 10 to 12 pages. Okay. And it was the final exam. The same situation, if the lockdown is extended to the end of the next month, the final exam is going to be like the portfolio or something like that. Okay. But we hope the best.
Professor,
How many?
I have another
question, sir.
Yes.
Sir?
Please, I'm very sorry. Can you ask this question on WhatsApp? I have another class. I have another class now.
Oh, it's
okay.
Really sorry. With my CPG students. Okay. So sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. Proud of you.
Thank you,
Good luck.
sir.
So much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
a lot.
Yes.
Yes, please. You can ask on WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir.
I will answer all the questions.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yalla, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.